Hi, hello, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, live from the TSAI Field House on the campus of the Lawrenceville School in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. It's TCNJ Hockey Night tonight here on YouTube. Welcome to tonight's broadcast of TCNJ Hockey, live exclusively on your home for TCNJ Lions Hockey. Breakout Sports Broadcasting, a pleasant good evening to everybody tuning in to tonight's broadcast. Here in central New Jersey and live from ice level, my name is Trey Wright for BSB. As tonight, the Lions, in their 9th game of the season, host the Patriots of George Mason University. In a big tilt here tonight, a little bit later than we initially wanted. Some transportation slash traffic issues for George Mason. Getting here a little bit late, so the second the Zamboni gets off the ice, we're going to get right here on the go, off of the gun. But about 45 minutes later than we initially anticipated, gave us a little bit of time to get some more storylines coming in here tonight. Of course, starting with the TCNJ Lions. Coming into tonight, still looking for their second win of the season, their first win on home ice, with a record of 1-7 coming into this evening. Right now on a 2-game losing streak after falling to the Dragons of Drexel on a 4-2 loss on October 10th. The game was not the only thing lost that evening, as E.J. Glye was given a disqualification penalty at the end of the second period, and he is serving a 1-game suspension tonight. He'll be back in a TCNJ uniform tomorrow evening on the road at George Mason, but that is a big physical aspect that's missing from this TCNJ lineup here this evening. Of course, George Mason over on the other side of the ice, coming in with a record of 5-1. Their lone loss coming on the road against Toledo on October 9th. But they have won 4 out of their last 5, sweeping the Mountaineers of West Virginia as well as Oakland last weekend. They've been able to put up a ton of points here so far in 2025. Both teams immediately heading out onto the ice as the referees will step on. We'll take a quick look at the starting lineups for the Lions tonight, with Josh Kushner, Zach Duggan, and Joey Greenspoon, the 3 forwards on the red line, Brian Gabota and Jack Smith on the blue line for this TCNJ program. And the Hamilton, New Jersey native, the sophomore of Nate Mayer, will get the start between the pipes here for the Lions. Ethan May and Matthew Gamboa backing him up on the bench. And over on the other side of things for George Mason, their top lines, pairings, and goaltender will start here. The 21 of Nick Ransom, the 10 of Matthew Price, and the 12 of Dylan Thorne starting on here for the Patriots red line as they're coached by James Viano. 7 of Dylan Chun and the 4 of James Sharp starting on the blue line, and the 35 of Lucas Huberger starting between the pipes for the George Mason Patriots, as both teams are coming out here onto the ice for opening ceremonies for tonight's contest between the Patriots and the Lions here on Breakout Sports Broadcasting. A little bit later than we initially anticipated, so grab the coffee, grab whatever you need to stay awake. It's going to be a great one here tonight, so we'll send it down ice level for opening ceremonies for tonight's contest between George Mason and TCNJ.
And I have to announce this shit.
You said you have to.
Welcome to the TSAI Field House for an ACHA Division I matchup between George Mason Patriots and your TCNJ Lions. Starting lineup for George Mason: winger number 21, Nick Ransom; number 12, Dylan Thorne; center number 10, Matthew Price; defenseman number 7, Dylan Chow; defenseman number 4, James Sharp; goalie number 35, Lucas Henberger. Starting lineup for your TCNJ Lions: winger number 48, Joey Greenspoon; winger number 7, Josh Kushner; center number 9, Zach Dugan; defenseman number 5, Brian Gabota. Defenseman, number 12, Jack Smith. And goalie, number 1, Nathan Meyer. Now please rise and move your hats as we honor our country. TCNJ Junior Holly Paradise will be singing our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran clear, the bombs fast and hidden gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
About 50 minutes later than we initially anticipated, but we're ready to rock and roll for tonight's contest between George Mason and TCNJ. Here on Breakout Sports Broadcasting, glad to have everybody aboard as we get a good look at the TCNJ goaltender, the number 1 of Nate Mayer, the Hamilton, New Jersey native, playing between both D1 and D2 this season. Went to Notre Dame a little bit down Route 206 here from TCNJ as we get a look at the rest of the Lions starting lineup for this evening. Kushner, Duggan, Greenspoon, Gabota, Smith, and Mayer, the starting 6 for New Jersey. College of New Jersey in their home white uniforms with New Jersey scripted across the front and blue shells. Ransom, Price, Thorne, Chun, Sharp, and Huberger, the starting 6 for the Patriots, wearing their road green uniforms with yellow accents. We're ready to roll here with a little bit of a late burger tonight, as Price and Duggan will meet at the face-off circle. Both teams getting loud, getting rowdy. It's a little bit of a late evening. Perfect time for some Acha hockey, and away we go. And it starts with a face-off win by Thorne. Trying to get it back over to the 21 of Nick Ransom. The Reston, Virginia native will track back for this. Gets it over to the alternate captain of Matthew Price. Trying to take it out of their own end are the Lions. This is Jack Smith. Not able to get a hold of it. Trying to drive after it is Thorne. Both he and Price trying to dig after it. It'll come back over to Price. Smith trying to defend. Sent back to the top of the point to the 7 of Dylan Chun. Chun trying to drive away from Joey Greenspoon. Puts one on target. And Mayer will make the stoppage. 40 seconds gone by. And the Patriots will draw a shot on net here early in the first period. Mayer 1 for 1 so far tonight. Take a look at his stats, 0-2 on the season with a GAA of 7.48 and 89.1 save percentage. Second line coming on is Sean putting a shot from the point, and that one will go into the opposite corner. Daniel Jakob will step on here for the Lions and will get it across to the 19 of Ryan Walter. Alex Gibson will give it over to Kyle Gregory, who gets knocked into the Patriots bench. And back in their own end is James Sharp. A lot of players laying the bodies early on here, as Karpov will lay this on. A Lion will go down to the rear end. That was Ryan Walter that blew a tire right at the blue line. Pops back out in the neutral territory. This is Tyler Rothermund with 33 points last season for the Patriots, sticking it into the opposite corner, where it's taken here by Walter, receives a check after the fact. Jakob was looking for the seam pass over to Colin Helkowski. This one a little bit off target, and icing is called against the Lions. And over in the opposite goaltending crease for the Patriots, the junior of Lucas Huberger. Huberger from Vienna, Austria, 1-1 on the season with a 2.55 GAA and a 93 save percentage for the Austrian. Quinn Alley, the captain, sticking it in at the offensive zone. Walter trying to dig it out. He is blocked by this physical third line here for the Patriots. Trying to drive after it is Joe Petit wearing 76. And he'll rim it along the boards, trying to find the 25 of George Goodwin. Goodwin, the team leader in scoring for the Patriots, back over to Petit. Back over to Goodwin it goes. Goodwin waiting for options, was trying to feed the defense. And tracking back all the way forward, this is Andrew Fisher. This is intercepted, but just barely offside was Duggan. Top line for the Lions will come back out. Here is Kushner trying to drive after it. Instead, will come over to Rotherman. Rotherman down at the far side. Nearly getting run over by Gabota. Get it back over to Petit. Petit trying to find Rotherman in the low slot, and it's taken out of here by Kushner. Josh Kushner down the right wing, trying to get it around the defense, but McAllister Markowitz will take it away from Kushner. And back and forth we continue to go. Only one shot on either goaltender so far, coming 40 seconds into the contest. We're about 3 minutes into tonight's game. Still not up 0-0. Zakir Khan trying to drive this in. Bouncing puck right over to Nate Mayer, and he'll make the stoppage. It's a really good George Mason team that's trying to take advantage of a TCNJ team that's got a little bit of a short bench here tonight, only running with 10 forwards instead of the traditional 12. Got all 6 defensemen, but a little bit of a short bench. Of course, the team has been missing Logan May, who has been out for the last couple of weekends. Timetable still a little bit uneasy, as Huberger will make his opening stop of the evening. And of course, E.J. Glein not being in the lineup is hurting the Lions a lot here. Third line will come on for TCNJ. Of course, Glein will be back when the Lions are on the road tomorrow night at the Prince William Ice Palace in Fairfax, Virginia. Sharp off the draw, trying to take it away from Halkowski. Kept in by Gregory. Gregory was waiting for options, had it taken off his stick by Chun, was looking for a centering feed to Gibson. Putting it on there is Khan. That shot from the point blocked. Archinaka was trying to drive it off of the half wall, and it's popped out of the offensive zone, where Walter will come back for this one. Walter, one-touch pass from Gregory over to Halkowski, but he's pickpocketed there by a Patriot. Ransom trying to find it back here as Archinaka will lay the body onto the 16 of Zakir Khan. Another big hit there from Halkowski. He throws the body as Matthew Price will take it down the left wing. Stuck back in here by TCNJ. Huberger will lay it off here, and this is Sharp who's back on the ice. Trying to get it up here is a foot race back for the loose change between Thorne and a Lion. Trun trying to race after it, puts a shot a little bit wide of Mayer's office. And this is whipped up into the netting as trying to play it off of the high glass was Dan Jakob. And a defensive zone draw here for TCNJ, about 5 minutes gone in the first period, still scoreless. TCNJ trying to take advantage of the bus legs for George Mason as they came here a little bit later on. Arrived at the TSAI Field House at exactly 7 o'clock, so a little under an hour ago. Quickly got dressed, quickly got a warm-up in. And right now trying to put some offensive pressure here on a Lions team looking for their first home win of the season. Krobko trying to put one on that's sticked away by a Patriot. Trying to crash after this was Quinn Alley, and it's wheeled out of here by Fisher. Fisher taken away by Kushner. He's got a little bit of space. Kushner was trying to feed across to the 24 of Scarmato. And a good block in the lane there by a George Mason skater. Scarmato trying to find it along with Greenspoon, as Scarmato will join this top line. Greenspoon losing it in his skates. Nobody wants it for a brief moment. It's finally taken out of here by the Patriots. Kept in by Jakob. Sends one off of the end wall. Taken back here by Thorne, and he will send it the length of the ice. Icing is waved off as this one is on goal. Tape-to-tape pass for Kushner. He'll wrist one on and into the glove of Lucas Huberger for a stoppage. So the Lions responding in kind with a little bit of offense on their own, and they're able to take a little bit of advantage in terms of the defensive zone breakdowns there from George Mason. But not been able to solve Huberger and the two chances they've had against the Austrian. Markowitz ran into the line person, and that will give the advantage to Smith in 12. Smith with Andrew Farley. Trying to grab it there. Hinkson will send this one from the point, trying to find Farley. Former Westchester Wolf from the USPHL Premier, not far from his hometown. Or rather, he's from North Carolina, so a little bit closer to home in terms of his collegiate play, but not far from where he played his junior contest last year. This one whistled down for a hand pass, and it will pop out into the neutral zone, it looks like. Of course, if you followed a couple of our games here, you'll know that we've got a lot of former Westchester Wolves Premier players and the teams that play against these breakout sports broadcasting teams. If you watched our Ramapo broadcast from last Saturday, you'll know that Newman University's got a lot of former Wolves, and we've got another former Wolf on the ice here in the regards of Andrew Farley. So glad to see him out here on the ice at the collegiate level. Gregory was trying to crash the net, but Huberger will cover up for a stoppage. And an offensive zone draw for the Lions coming into tonight with a record of 1-7. Their lone win coming on the road now 2 weeks ago against William Patterson in that weekend split with the Pioneers. And another ECHA team coming here to the TSAI Field House, not playing any opponents in the NECHL just yet are the Lions, and that one saved by the pads of Huberger. His best save of the evening so far, and TCNJ trying to draw some offense, but here comes Goodwin. Spins away from a back-checking Ryan Walter, and they score! A breakdown defensively by the Lions, and cashing in are the Patriots' Joe Petit. Putting it into the empty cage, and it's quickly 1-0 George Mason. And that play was broken from the moment it started, as Goodwin was able to spin away from Alex Gibson, I believe that was. Mayer way out of position, and essentially an empty net goal for Joe Petit. He'll get his third goal of the season. And George Mason will take a 1-0 lead here. So not the start for TCNJ that you want.
Number 76, Joe Petit. Assist number 25, George Goodwin.
So it's Petit from Goodwin. Early on here in the first period, and it's quickly a 1-0 goal. The Patriots out front looking for their third win in a row. Stout playing in his own end is able to get it over to Gamboa. Gabota, rather. It's Gamboa, one of the backup goaltenders here on the bench, and a scrum forward, the loose change. Finally able to pop it back out was Scarmato, got as far as his own blue line. Delayed offside is neither team able to get full possession here. Duggan will dump it in, he'll chase after it. Sharp will play it along the end wall where it's taken away here by Duggan. Kushner looking for the turnaround chance, and he is denied. Gabota falls to his feet, that one sails through the crease, but not into the back of the net. TCNJ now with a little bit of offensive zone time here, but it's quickly wheeled out by Kahn, and here come the Patriots in a 2-on-3. Now they've got a 4-on-3. Mayer will stick this one in, rebound collected by his skater. Big crunch into the boards as Alley racing back for this one, and icing is called. It's Quinn Alley, the captain of the Patriots, gets there back in time. So a defensive zone draw for the Lions. 11:46 to go in the first frame. Like we've alluded to a couple of different times already tonight, these two teams in a home-and-home. As George Mason will have their home opener against TCNJ tomorrow evening. It's hard to believe that it's already the middle of October and the Patriots have not had a home game at the Prince William Ice Palace. Right in the heart of Fairfax County. Alley trying to put one through traffic, and that's sticked aside. Walters trying to get a little bit of mojo here from the Lions. But nobody is going to touch that as it'll sail all the way to the half wall, and icing once again called here against TCNJ, who are now struggling to get out of their own end. That game tomorrow evening being played at 8:15 Eastern Time. There's a broadcast link. We'll provide it to you here over the Breakout Sports Broadcasting airwaves. Alley with it at the near side, redirecting. Trying to look for the redirect there was Tim Marsico. Finally got it correct on the third try. Halkowski across, sends it over to Greenspoon, trying to get it back over to Halkowski. Chipped away by Huberger and out of play. So some stop and go play here midway through the first. The fourth line will come on here for TCNJ. Manny Amendola making his first start of the season for the senior. Will hop on here at the left wing along with Kyle Gregory and the 18 of Gibson. Turned aside there, and Nick Ransom here on the outlet. Top line coming on here. Price dancing past Archinaco, trying to set things up for Thorne. Hit hard into the boards there was a Patriot. Now potential 2-on-1 is Amendola able to try and poke it into the half wall. Now the Lions with a little bit of offensive zone time here, but taking it away is Wyatt Hinkson. Hinkson back on the tape. And the 5'7" Marlboro, Maryland native trying to dig after it here. Amendola trying to dig after it here at the near wall. Puck finally pops back out into the high slot, and it's wheeled out of here by Thorne. Thorne trying to drive around Stout, but Stout doing a real good job at playing blocker. Archinaco will rim this along the half wall, taken here by Kahn. Kahn still with it. He's got a little bit of time and space. Waiting for options, looking for the wraparound chance. Faked it. Trying to drop it back over to Ransom. He wasn't in position, and it's all the way into the Patriots' end. McAllister Markowitz has it on the tape, nearly taken away there by Scarmato, and Scarmato will finally take it away. Trying to look for Liam Yeoman, who's still looking for his first point in a Lions uniform. Not able to hold on to it, and it'll find the 5 of Gabota. Gabota will stick it in past the red line. Chun is on it, sticks it over to Sharp. Little bit of speed here is Andrew Farley down the far side. Racing after this one are the Patriots here. Farley with it. Same thing with Alexei Karpov. Chun keeps it in at the point. Kicking it back to himself is Dan Jakob, who's crunched into the corner. And this is Yeoman who will take it in his own end. Yeoman up to Korobko. Took a stick in the midsection and lost possession of it. Referee's arm will remain down here. We'll continue to play past the midway point in the first period. TCNJ's had a couple of chances, but that defensive blue line play has been exceptional so far here for the Patriots. A great example of that is Chun is able to stick it away from a Lion in white, 2-on-2 the other way. Chun trying to stick it across to Karpov, but takes it back. Here is Kushner. He is brought down, no call on the play. Duggan trying to take it away, and Huberger will clear into the opposite corner. Slap shot from Gabota from the point, and it's covered up by Huberger. Tell you what, there was a ton of mustard, bacon, and pickle on that slap shot there from Brian Gabota, the junior from Totowa, New Jersey. Looking for his first goal this season. Has 3 assists from the early part of the season in the high-scoring, high-octane games from earlier on. It's TCNJ still looking for a little bit of momentum here in this game, trailing 1-0. Kushner trying to give chase off for the draw. This will roll over to Goodwin. Tyler Rothermund trying to stick it off of Joe Petit, the lone goal scorer in this game so far, and in his own end is Fisher. Fisher tried to get it over to Alley a little bit too hard on the pass, and here come the Lions. Duggan trying to dig after it along with Rothermund, and he'll take it out of the scrum. Back to the point for Smith. He puts one on target, just a little bit wide. Pitched out of here by the Patriots, and Smith is back on it. Duggan now on it, gets it over to Kushner. A little bit of wide open space for Greenspoon, but he's not able to get on it. Greenspoon to Kushner, trying to feed Duggan. Kushner's still on it, puts one on just a little bit wide. Greenspoon looking for the rebound, gloved here by the 55 of Alley. Kushner laying the body into Petit. And this one pops back into the neutral zone. Clapping it back in is Walter. And Fisher giving chase, blew a tire as he was trying to get the puck in the corner, and that'll draw some Lions into the fray. Greenspoon was trying to dig after it, and Gibson will keep it in as he'll rim it along the half wall. Marsico trying to get after it as the 81 and 18 colliding in the corner. Kept in here by Nick Stout. Stout trying to put one on for a redirect for Gregory. Gregory now fighting for it. Here's Jakob. TCNJ starting to buzz, and just as we say that, Jakob's shot put on here, and now some shoving between Kyle Gregory and Quinn Alley. As Gregory trying to get into the physical mindset of the Patriots captain in the early stages here. And Gregory is going to go to the box here for a roughing call. I'm not sure about that one personally, because it looked like both skaters were going after it after the fact. I'm not sure if there was maybe the instigator factor into that, but Gregory will go to the box. And a penalty kill here late in the first period for the Lions. So Quinn Alley will draw George Mason's first power play of the evening. The Patriots right now with a power play effectiveness of 22.2%. TCNJ on the other side of the penalty kill. Effectiveness of 75, 21 for 28 on the kill so far this season. 7:01 to go in the first period. Gregory in the sin bin for a pair. And it starts with a win here for George Mason. Chun across to Price, back over to Chun, back over to Price. Those two playing catch with the vulcanized rubber. Chun sending it over to Thorne, trying to find some space in the low slot there for Ransom. Chun, quarterback in this power play, sticks it right into the gear of Mayer, and he'll make the save. That'll take 20 seconds off of the man advantage for the Patriots. 100 seconds to go in the roughing minor against Gregory. 6:40 to go in the period in total. Off the draw, one here by George Mason once again, and Chun has got it at the point. Spinning away from Kubota. Try to put it onto Thorne's tape, and Thorne is able to get it after bobbling the puck. Thorne back with it. Finds Chun at the point. Chun sending it back over to Thorne. Thorne over to Price. Price with a little bit of a slap shot. Faked it for a brief moment. Wasn't able to get anything on it, but he's got the vulcanized rubber back on the tape. Chun back over to Price. Price faking the slap shot was Ransom and not able to get the rebound with the Patriots. Chun keeps it in. Price back over to Chun. He lays the body. Looking for the redirect was Thorne. And Mayer will cover up. Mayer able to make a great stop here with 64 seconds to go in the first power play. 6:04 to go in the first period. Second killing unit will come out here for the Lions. Greenspoon off of the draw. He'll lose the draw to Mercico. Trying to dig it out of there are the Lions, and they'll pop it out to the neutral zone. Great play there from Alex Gibson. Starting from their own end is George Mason. Their second power play unit comes onto the ice. Goodwin trying to drive through the traffic, but he'll turn it over, and Kushner will clear. 40 seconds to go in the penalty against Gregory. Huberger will set up from his own red line. Taken out of here by Alley. Onto the tape of Rotherman. Rotherman down the right wing. Trying to get around Kushner and lost possession of it. Crashing in is Marsico. George Mason trying to get things going here. Another wide open chance for Marsico, but he's not able to pull the trigger. Goodwin on it. 13 seconds to go in the man advantage, and that short side chance stopped by Mayer. 7 seconds to go in the penalty. Alley looking for one last chance. Sends it across to a Patriot. That one put on and the rebound covered up by Mayer. As the penalty expires, some pushing and shoving after the fact. But TCNJ standing tall. And their first penalty kill of the evening, and they've killed it off as out of the box is Gregory. George Mason with 4 shots on goal on that power play. Price off for the draw, wins it, but it's going to cost the Patriots. This one comes out of the offensive zone, and Chun back in his own end. Yeoman keeping him honest along with Helkowski. Trying to take it away here is Yeoman. He's got on the tape. Trick going to go short side. Rebound coming over, trying to get it on the Lions. Not able to get it. Here is TCNJ, and George Mason nearly cleared it out. Helkowski not able to keep it in, and here comes Thorne down the left side. Gets it up to Ransom. Ransom trying to dance around Yaka, but one too many dance moves, and he blew a tire. Ransom back on it, however. Rather, that's Thorne. Thorne trying to find it for Price. Price trying to skip around the entire TCNJ defense. Skies this one into the air, but it remains in play. Jakob on the outlet to Helkowski. One-on-one with Chun. Helkowski will put one on target. And that one stopped there by Lucas Huberger. Perfect 10 for 10 so far. Shots 13-10 in favor of George Mason, who've got a 1-0 lead with 4:06 to go in the period. Off of the draw, it's one here once again by George Mason. I think they've won but all but one face-off draw so far in this game. Walter from his own end trying to take it away from Petit. A little bit of miscommunication in the low slot from the Lions, but they're able to pitch it into the neutral zone. Taking it here is Hinkson. He'll rim it along through the corners, and this will find Karpov at the point. Karpov trying to find Farley. Farley was looking for another player in green. Blowing a tire there was Duggan on the outlet. Wheeled back in here by Hinkson, and giving chase is Gabota. Gabota on it, not able to glove it back into the zone are the Patriots. And this is Kushner who's rocked into the boards. Walter from his own end. Giving chase is Karpov. He'll dump it off, and now trying to get it out of here is Kushner, and he's got it to Duggan. Duggan was aiming for the top right corner. Didn't miss by much. Greenspoon keeps it alive in the offensive zone, but George Mason will take it away. This is Sharp who's on it. Tape-to-tape pass over to Kahn. Trying to drive around the defense there, and now we're going to get a penalty called against the Lions. Looks like it's going to be a holding, but it'll indeed be a hooking call. And the Lions will go back to the penalty kill. And this is not the guy you want to be going to the box here, as Nick Stout will be going to the sin bin for a pair for a hooking call. Stout, who is one of the best penalty killers here for the Lions, will sit for 2 minutes. And a great A opportunity here for George Mason to potentially double up their lead late in the first. So a big kill here for TCNJ as Zach Duggan will step on for the PK. Off of the draw, once again, one here by George Mason, and Goodwin will start with it. Trying to put one on net. Looking for another chance short side there. That was Petit looking for his second of the period, taken here by Marsico. Marsico looking to take aim, gets it back over, and Mayer, I think he was able to get a little bit of a piece of it. Alley sends it over. Rims it along the half wall. Gibson giving chase. He and Rotherman collide. That one, slap shot, cleared out of there. Nearly clipped the lines person. Having to come out of his cage was Huberger. And the Patriots will start from their own end. Goodwin down the left side once again. Trying to drive around the defense once more. Trying to set up for Marsico in the slot. Nearly taken away, and it is taken away. Here's Duggan, short-handed. Good back check there from Rotherman, and he'll knock Duggan off of the puck. Kept alive offensively, now it's not. Walter not able to hold on to it. Goodwin has got it, looking for Petit. He's got Petit. Tie up in the low slot. Couple of players on top of one another. No calls, just anything yet. And we'll get a clear. Winning in their own end are the Patriots, as James Viamo was looking for a holding call to potentially go up 5-on-3 for a handful of seconds, but it will remain a power play with 30 seconds to go in the hooking minor against Stout. Whiffing on the outlet pass was Jakob, and Mayer will hold on to it as Farley was crashing in. 64 seconds to go in the period, 22 remaining. And the call against Stout. George Mason looking for one final opportunity here. 21 seconds to go, and they win the draw again. Chun sticking it across to Thorne, puts one on, and that's saved by Mayer. Good short side save there out of the sophomore. Getting back on it, here is Thorne. Under a minute to go in the first period. Make it 50 seconds to go in the first. Good block there from Gregory, but it gives it right back over to Thorne. Thorne looking for options. And Greenspoon will backhand it out. We're back to 5-on-5 as Halkowski will jump on. TCNJ looking for a late equalizer here as Gregory is hit behind the play. Chun, who has gotten a lot of ice time right now in this first period, will take it behind Huberger's office. Chun looking to take it over, and he'll eventually find Goodwin. Goodwin gets it up to Petit, takes a stick in the midsection, no call. And there is going to be a call. And another hooking call against TCNJ with 10 seconds to go in the first. They're right back to the penalty kill. And it's Joey Greenspoon who will take a hooking call here with 10 seconds to go in the first period. And Lions, who have been playing well on 5-on-5, needing to kill another penalty and trying to get to this first intermission with 10 and a couple ticks remaining in the first. So Greenspoon, another great penalty killer for the Lions, is in the box. TCNJ finally wins a draw and will come out of the zone, and that'll do it for the first period in all likelihood. Rothermund will wait up in his own end, and that will do it. George Mason will have $150 of power play time to go when we come back in the second. They lead 1-0. A goal off the stick of Joe Petit, his third of the season. The only assist coming from the 25 of George Goodwin, his 13th point of the year. His 15th point of the season, I should say, to give the Patriots a 1-0 lead. We'll be back in 15 minutes' time here on tonight's coverage of TCNJ Hockey, live on Breakout Sports Broadcasting. 20 down, 40 to go as we welcome you back inside the glass, the TSAI Field House in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, for tonight's coverage of the second period of TCNJ hockey here on Breakout Sports Broadcasting. Trey Wright on the call, and after 20 minutes of play, George Mason leads the Lions 1-0, thanks to an early period goal from Joe Petit, his third goal of the season. Primary assist to George Goodwin, his 15th point. Team leading 15 point at that to bring us to where we are, 1-0 with TCNJ. With minute 50 of penalty kill time to go here. Starting off with the second period, Joey Greenspoon was dogged for a hooking call. 10 seconds remaining in the first period. And starting on the kill here are the Lions. They win the initial draw, but it comes back to Chun. Dylan Chun has been getting so much ice time tonight here. And he's got the vulcanized rubber on the tape once again, gets it up to Thorne. And Dylan Thorne is a tad bit offside. So 20 seconds gone in the second period. There'll be a little bit more time off the clock here for TCNJ with 90 seconds to go in the hook and call against Greenspoon. Both Greenspoon and Nick Stout have received hooking calls here this evening. Two of the best penalty killers on this team. And they've been able to get the job done so far. TCNJ 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. As of right now, trying to go 3 for 3. That one batted out of the air by Gregory. Was played with a high stick, but George Mason touched up on it next. And GMU with a little bit of time and space. Here's Ransom. Down the right wing. Will transition over to the near side. Ransom looking for a cross slot feed over to Price. But it's cleared out of here by the Lions. On the forecheck is Gregory. He's trying to get it over from Huberger, but Huberger will drop it off there for Ransom. 53 seconds to go in the hooking call. On the tape of Price. Price trying to send it across to the 81. Now another chance there from Price, and it was not on target. Was trying to get it over to Tim Marsico and just a little bit out. And speaking of out, same thing with the puck. Huberger will play it for Chun. 30 seconds to go in the penalty. Chun calling for a little bit of a back check here, waiting for GMU reinforcements. George Mason moving from right to left in their road green uniforms. TCNJ with 15 seconds to go in the penalty kill, moving from left to right in their home whites. Ransom getting over to Petit. Petit back over to Chun. Chun spins away from Kushner as the 2-7s, both fighting for the puck. This one pops out of the zone. Kushner giving chase on to Chun, but Greenspoon is out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5 and 3 perfect penalty kills for the Lions. Trying to get some power play opportunity of their own, but here's Chun on the 5-on-5. Get it over to Marsico. Marsico with a beautiful dangle will double the lead. Tim Marsico makes it a 2-0 contest with a feed from Dylan Chun. And just like that, right as we went back to 5-on-5, the Patriots strike again and make it a 2-0 contest. And that was a filthy dangle there from Tim Marsico, his second goal of the season for the Monument, Colorado senior. And now TCNJ's hole gets a little bit steeper to get out of. The same situation they faced 1 week ago against Drexel, and this one called for an icing. Andrew Duco a little bit perplexed on the icing call as he thought that one was tipped.
Tim Marsico. Assist number 7, Dylan Chun.
So Chun with the only assist on that play. Marsico will join Joe Petit as the 2 goal scorers in this game so far. Shots 19-10 in favor of the Patriots. They lead 2-0. Alley trying to stick this one in, gets it over to Farley. Farley back over, clap bomb coming. That was Fisher, whose shot was waffle boarded away from Mayer, and this one will come out of the zone. This one will go out of play, I should say, will remain in the defensive zone for the Lions. That was a clap bomb from Fisher. A great shot and even better save out of Mayer. 18 for 20 so far tonight. And the Lions looking to give him a little bit of help offensively. Taken out of here by Jakob. Allie will find this at the far corner. Petit trying to dig after her with Alex Gibson right behind him. Taken out of here by Farley, and he'll go on the outlet. He's trying to find a fellow skater, is just barely staying onside was Alexei Karpov. He's tied up with a couple of TCNJ skaters, and this is Gregory who will dump it in, giving chase is Colin Helkowski. Helkowski not able to keep this one in. Marsico has got it down the right side. Will feed Travis Plylar. Putting one on was Karpov. Save made by Mayer. Taking it back out of here is Hinkson. Hinkson will loft this one in. Save made there by Mayer. A little bit of a bobble there out of the sophomore. Now another chance on the wraparound. That was a great heads-up play out of Kance Jasanis. But he wasn't able to get the puck between the goal mouth. Yeoman now trying to take it away from Hinkson on an aggressive forecheck out of the junior. Taken out of here by Marsico. Drives around to the defense, and now a 3-on-1 coming here for George Mason. Able to get a little bit of a shot off was Marsico. It was blocked, and now a 2-on-1, making a 3-on-1 for the Lions. Yeoman across the blue line takes it himself, and making the stop is Huberger. Liam Yeoman, the former Ryder Bronc, trying to find the back of the net for the second time in his collegiate career. Had 1 goal in 2 seasons played with the Broncs. And was trying to aim for the top right corner. The native of nearby Pennington, New Jersey, both he and Joey Greenspoon played high school hockey at Hopewell Valley Regional. Hopewell Valley Central, I should say. So it seemed like this is a match made in heaven with Yeoman transferring in the offseason under the wing of the alternate captain of Greenspoon. Archinako not able to keep this one in, swiped away by Thorne, and he's on his horse down the left wing. Thorne trying to go coast to coast, and Mayer is able to hold on to it before Matthew Price is trying to stick it in. And correction on my score sheet, that is Lance Jasanis, not Kance. Typo on our end here, so Lance Jasanis with his first shift of the evening. Price sending it into the goal mouth, and Mayer will hold on. Shot number 25 of the evening as Mayer has been peppered so far. Like he is an Olive Garden salad right now. Has faced 25 shots on goal and has saved 23 of them. His team on the other side has only been able to test Lucas Huberger 11 times, and he has passed all 11 with flying colors. Chun keeps it in at the point, nearly taken away there by Gregory, and now a snapshot from Thorne. Just missed the mark. Ransom and Stout trying to fight after this one. Ransom will take it away from Gregory. Big hit into the boards there from a Patriot. Helkowski, that was Helkowski. I thought it was Jakob for a brief moment. Will clear it out. He'll chase his own dump in. Gets hit hard at the mid-wall there by Karpov. Gregory feeding Helkowski at the half wall. Lining up for a hit there was Chun. Gibson trying to dig after it, and this will be cleared out of here, and Ransom will start in a 1-on-3. He's got some reinforcements. Will chip it into the opposite corner. And now TCNJ trying to get reinforcements on here at the same time as George Mason. Chun at the center ice. Logo will stick it in, and Stout will give chase. 14:25 to go in the second period. Approaching the midway point through this game. George Mason leads 2-0 thanks to goals from Joe Petit and Tim Marsico. Trying to go onto the scoreboard there was Matthew Korobko. Gloved down by Huberger for his 12th save of the night. A little bit of a late start to this one, originally scheduled for puck drop at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Some transportation and traffic issues from George Mason's side of things, delaying this game by 50 minutes, but they've got a 2-goal advantage, approaching the halfway point in this game and trying to triple the lead here on a partial 3-on-2. Rotherman was trying to feed Petit, who was looking for his second. Petit able to keep it in off of the skate of the referee, and now George Mason has got numbers. This is Rotherman trying to get it over back to Petit. This one off of the high glass, but kept in by Alley. Trying to clear it out of here, and a massive green light hit as Karobko got lit up. That's about as crisp and old school as an open ice hit you're going to see here at the ACHA level. Not sure who threw the hit there out of George Mason, but what a hit. I got to see that one more time on our monitor here. Because as Karobko got lit up right at the blue line. Once we know who threw the hit there for George Mason, we'll let you know. A quick shot right off the draw. Saved by Mayer. And it was Tyler Rotherman who laid out the 22 of Karobko. Nice clean hit right at the blue line, and got to keep your head up is all I've got to say on that hit. George Mason has been physical a ton so far in this game, and they definitely lead in the hit category. They lead on the scoreboard as well, and a quick shot from Karpov, saved by the pillows of Mayer. Now Farley trying to find some space over to Goodwin. This is Pilar. Pilar was trying to find somebody in the mid-slot. Markowitz will send it in, blocked by the skate of Greenspoon, hit up high, and he'll chip it out. Duggan trying to chase after this one is taken here, and Karpov, he's got some space in a one-on-one. Sticked aside by Mayer. Gabota with a good back check will tie up Karpov. Twig goes flying. That was Karpov's stick that went flying. Make that Joey Greenspoon, and now a breakaway chance for Kushner. Kushner just a little bit wide of the cage. Kushner on a breakaway just a little bit to the left side of Huberger's cage. And now just offside is George Mason. They would have had a lot of time. Lance Jasanis trying to put one on. That one just trickles across. Shot just goes wide once again. And Mayer will cover it up outside of his crease for a Halton play. And George Mason nearly about 2 inches away from getting their third goal of the night as we get another look at it on our monitor. All started with that play from Jasanis, and I have no idea how that stayed out. Jasanis put that perfectly right across the red line, but not beyond it. And the Lions dodging a bullet there from the Patriots. They still trail 2-0. Kahn dumps it 6 feet wide of the cage. Keeping it in is Sharp. Lining up a hit was Jasanis, and now Halkowski, a little bit of space down the far side. Puts on the brakes and waits for reinforcements. Was trying to spring Gregory. This will come back to Smith, who will chip it back in. Gregory is on it, trying to take it away from Chun, but he blew a tire. And Chun will wait beneath his goaltender's cage for reinforcements. 11:20 to go in the second period. Chun will finally play. It was trying to bank it off of the wall, and icing will be called here. It looked like TCNJ had a chance to touch the puck, but the icing will be called. It'll be an offensive zone draw for the Lions. TCNJ trailing 2-0. These two teams playing tomorrow night at 8:15 Eastern Time down the Prince William Ice Palace in Fairfax, Virginia. Not far from where I spent a little bit of my youth. I lived down in the D.C. area for 3 years. Right across from South County High School. A couple of these guys, I think somebody from here playing for South County on the George Mason roster. It was Andrew Fisher that played for the Hayfield South County Co-op. Now they've got a 2-on-1. Ransom puts it on himself. That one skies over the crossbar. Another save out of Mayer. 30th shot he has faced here tonight has saved 28 of them. Fisher, speak of the devil, was trying to feed a ransom. This comes across to Goodwin. Goodwin has it taken away, and Walter will stick it to Krobko. Krobko gets lit up by Thorne, and this will squirt all the way down. Icing will be called off here as Andrew Fisher will start from his own red line. Nearly turning it over to Albert Scarmato. It's taken here by Yeoman. Yeoman finding Scarmato as the referee had to get the heck out of the way. Kushner spinning away from a couple of players, hit by Alley. And he is knocked down. The net is knocked off of its moorings. Kushner knocked down by the Patriots captain. 16 seconds until the midway point here in the second period. In case you're just tuning in, George Mason routing TCNJ right now, 2-0, but they've got the lion's share of the shots on the scoreboard right now with the 44 shots that have been recorded here tonight. George Mason accounting for 30 of them. Nate Mayer, the sophomore, 28 for 30 in the goal crease, 14 for 14 so far is Lucas Huberger. And off for the draw, Fisher trying to stick it away. Kept in here by Duggan. Duggan, who has scored the last 2 goals in that single game set last weekend for TCNJ against Drexel. And now here's Price. Price and Thorne in a 2-on-1. Price trying to set it across. It just goes over the crossbar. Mayer somehow covers up. You want to talk about dodging a bullet? That was a whole nuclear bomb that TCNJ just dodged. Somehow that chipped just off of the crossbar. Mayer saw it, covered up, and froze play. And by the skin of their teeth, TCNJ will keep this a 2-0 game. Goodness gracious. Mayer will get credit for 1 save in that flurry. It's Gregory and Gregory and Petit off of the draw. Goodwin trying to keep it in, and he will. Redirecting puck. Cleared out of here. No, not cleared just yet. Gregory was looking for a clear. And this will finally be cleared out. If it's on net, it's not icing. And Helkowski will snow Huberger, and he'll have to answer to that. Hinkson not happy about Helkowski making a snowman out of Huberger. And cooler heads will prevail as those two, instead of being physical with one another, will scream at each other for words we cannot say here on air. Theoretically, we could, but we choose not to. We're professionals here at Breakout Sports Broadcasting. Rotherman, who has been a professional hitter tonight. He has been a one-man wrecking crew with the hits he's thrown. But now it's a 3-on-2 for the Lions. Amendola will dump it in. Helkowski to give chase. Rotherman at the half wall will lose it, and here's Gregory trying to chip it to Amendola, who's looking for his first of the season. Walter keeps it in at the point. Intentionally missing. Latruk trying to get it over to Gregory, who puts one on. A little bit wide of the cage there. Gregory not able to keep it in, and he's going to go to the box. And we might have multiple calls here as Gregory's stick was caught in the lane. And Jack Smith fell to the ice as well. And I believe we're going to get coincidental tripping calls here. Both Rofferman and Gregory will go to the sin bin, so it looks like we'll play 4-on-4 here with 2 separate penalties. So Gregory with his second tripping call of the evening, and a charging call being called against Rotherman. So he'll finally have to answer for the physicality that he has had in this contest. And we'll play 4-on-4 for a couple of minutes here. 8:47 to go in the middle period. 2-0 George Mason leads. A neutral zone draw to left-hand side of the George Mason bench. And a lot of open ice here for both of these teams to try and operate. So we'll get things underway as Scarmato and Price will meet at the face-off dot, and the 4-on-4 will start with a win for the Lions. Stout not in position. He'll finally track back forward, and TCNJ will start in their own end. Stout to Scarmato. Scarmato will dump it in corner to corner, giving chase is Karabko. Wheeled out of here by Sharp, and he puts it right on the tape of Price. Price sees that tipped in and out of the zone, and he will track back for it. Price with Ransom to his right-hand side, trying to take it himself, trying to take it around the entire defense, and now the Lions have got numbers. They've got a 3-on-2 the other way. Scarmato sends it across, loads it up for Karabko. What a save there by the Huberger. Had to do the splits and then some, and the Austrian will remain up 2-0. So it's Gregory 2 for tripping, Rotherman 2 for charging. With 1:23 to go, we've had scoring chances on both sides of the ice in this 4-on-4. Nate Mayer desperately pleading for the referees and the Lions people to drop the puck, if you will. The Lions people will oblige, and Thorne will win the draw. Farley will send it back over to Chun, and Chun will start in his own end. Gets it up to Thorne. Thorne down the far side, streaking around the entire defense and just missed. Able to get a good piece of that was Nate Mayer, and Thorne is back on it. Thorne, one of the 3 alternate captains, sending it across to Chun. Sean on it, whips it around to Farley. Farley was trying to find Sharp, who was knocked off of his skates, taken back here by Thorne. One-on-one chance there for Farley, but he's not able to hold on to it. 42 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Looking for the backdoor was Sharp. Rather, that was Farley. He's not able to take it, and now Duggan is on a breakaway chance. Here is Duggan. He shoots and scores! Zach Duggan will cut the lead in half. A couple of grade A chances on one end. The Patriots can't convert, and Zach Duggan, with his 4th of the season, will make it a 2-1 game. And you want to talk about a momentum shift there, as TCNJ is right back into the dance.
TCNJ goal scored by number 9, Zach Dugan. Assist, number 7, Josh Kushner.
So Josh Kushner will get the only assist on Duggan's 4th of the season. With 7 minutes to go in the second period, a lot of hockey still to be played. 10 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. And now the Patriots wheel from their own end. Petit, who got the goal scoring start in the first period, trying to drive around here. Nearly a backhanded chance, and Mayer with a stop. Now Gregory trying to look for the tape-to-tape pass on the blue line, and he'll get it, trying to go short side. Able to put a shot on net. Here's Stout. Puts one just a little bit wide of the cage. Now the Lions beginning to buzz. It's Rotherman not able to clear it out. Stout keeps it in. This one goes underneath of Gregory's tape. Jakob will chip it back into the zone. Gibson up to Hinkson. This one falling down. Bodies all over the place and trying to get it out of here are the Patriots. And Petit not able to get it out. This is Hinkson, who will keep it in his own end. That one chips off of a Lions skate, and now Jakob lost it in his skates. Rotherman, country mile offside, and the draw will come in front of the scorer's box. 6:01 to go in the second period of play, and the Lions, who trail by quite a wide margin, the shots on goal are right back into the game thanks to a breakaway goal from Zach Duggan. Duggan from Kushner has read a lot on the score sheet so far this season, as both of those players have taken up the mantle for the depth scoring, especially with Logan May being out of the lineup for the last handful of games. A dangerous cross-slot feed that Albert Scarmato nearly tapped in. That one sent in from the blue line, whizzes over the top left corner of Huberger's cage. Scarmato trying to keep this one in, and he will. He is hounded at the boards there by Sharp. Yeoman joining the fray. Yeoman trying to take it back over, but it's wheeled out of here by Marsico. Wheeling behind his own net, and he'll turn it over. Scarmato with it. Trying to find a lane. Had Yeoman in the low slot, and he was blown up, and now the Lions will go to the power play. I believe that was Jack Smith that got interfered with behind the play, making Matthew Karobko, who was slow to get up. And Tim Marsico will be going to the box here for what looks to be an interference minor. It'd actually be a roughing call and a 10-minute misconduct to Marsico. And that is a very, very big loss there for George Mason. 2 minutes will go on the board, but Marsico will not be back on the ice until the 15-10 mark in the third period. And that is a ton of offense being knocked off of here. As we look at the replay there, is Marsico. Yeah, that was head contact. That should be a 5 in a game based on what we're seeing on the monitor. He cross-checked Karobko in the head. I am very surprised. That was just a 2 and a 10. But nonetheless, TCNJ will get their first power play of the evening with 5 minutes to go in the second period. Lions power play. 3 for 32 so far this season. Conversely, the Patriots penalty kill operating at 71.4%. Trying to strike here are the Lions as Duggan, the lone goal scorer for the Lions, feeds it across. Looking for the shot there was Gregory, and the net will come off. Serving the minor will be Zakir Khan. Marsico will be in the box.
2 minutes for rough and 10-minute misconduct.
So Marsico in the box for a misconduct and a big power play here for the Lions with 89 seconds to go in the man advantage. Nearly clearing out is George Mason, and they will. The foot race back forward as Duggan will put it on the tape of Jakob. Jakob with Ransom in front of him will spin it over to Gregory. Gregory will, from his own end, will put it on the tape of Duggan once again. Duggan, who scored 71 points. Turns it over. Now here's a Price with a shorthanded chance, and he fans on it. The Price was wrong on that one, and now Kushner down the left wing for the Lions. Even numbers between both teams, and Kushner will now fan on it, and he's cross-checked from behind. TCNJ bench wanted to call Huberger. A little bit of contact in the slot as Jakob's shot denied by Huberger. Jakob from long range again, and that one redirected off of the leg of Hinkson, I think. Jakob pushed down by Price. And we're going to get a whistle here. I don't believe this is going to be a penalty. I think this is going to be a hand pass on the TCNJ bench. Especially Andrew Duca was absolutely livid right now as we get a good look at Quinn Alley, the captain of this George Mason team, skating back to the bench here. And the faceoff will come in front of the scores table. 3:40 to go in the second and 31 seconds to go in the initial penalty against Marsico. TCNJ has had 2 shots on this power play so far, as Sharp will start from his own end. Gets it up to Chun, who will wheel it in, and he'll clear it. Mayer will hold off on setting it up for Stout. 15 seconds to go in the initial call against Marsico as Helkowski will line it up. Scarmato at the far side, back over to Helkowski. Helkowski waiting for options. He'll find Walter at the point. We're back to 5-on-5. Kahn will sprint out of the box, and he'll rejoin the fray. Now the Patriots with a little bit of numbers. They've got some momentum the other way, dancing around the defense, and a great poke check there out of Mayer. Mayer will keep it a 1-goal game as George Mason on these breakaway chances, on these outlet chances, have been really strong on the rush so far tonight. Chun nearly turned it over to Helkowski, and Helkowski continuing to hunt the 7 of Chun. Sharp is on it. Gets it back over to Chun, and he'll pay the price for it. He was hit after the fact. Gabota trying to steer around the defense, and it's taken out of here by Petit. Rather make that Rothenberg. Rothermund, I should say. Got my D.C., Virginia area personalities mixed up here. A big hit into the boards as Gabota got lit up by Petit. Huberger will make a glove save with 2:14 to go in the second period. It's a good look at Joe Petit, the sophomore from Bloomfield, Connecticut. Spent the last 5 years playing in the Old Dominion State. Last played at the USPHL Premier level for the Richmond Generals. A lot of USP Premier talent on this team. Like we said, Andrew Farley played for the Westchester Wolves last year. Greenspoon down the left wing. Trying to find Duggan, but he was tied up, taken out of here by Goodwin. Goodwin back over to Petit. Not able to hold on to it. Taken out of here by Smith. $1:50 to go in the second period. TCNJ with the last goal in this game to make it a 2-1 contest. And George Mason looking to get a little bit of momentum here for the third. Had 34 shots on net, but Nathan Mayer has been strong so far tonight. This one has got Greenspoon nearly hit from behind the neutral zone. Hinkson gets lit up by Kushner after the fact. Rothermund has got it in the corner. He and Smith will collide. Goodwin trying to take it away, but he's lit up there by Duggan, who throws the body. 1:18 to go in the second period. TCNJ trying to baby this one goal deficit going into the final 20. Mayer will stick it aside, will slow it up for Smith, and Smith will spin back into the red line, trying to keep in his own end. He's hit from behind. He'll turn it over. Goodwin in the offensive zone. He'll turn it over. Looking for the chance there was Farley, and the pass will come out to nobody at the point. Under a minute to go in the second period, and Sharp trying to make quick work of this back check. Sharp in his own end. Getting some fresh skaters on here are the Patriots with 34 shots on net. Nathan Mayer has been good so far tonight. Now Helkowski with a little bit of time and space. Gets it to Gregory. Gregory trying to feed it back over to Helkowski. Looking for it was Gibson. And holding up is Huberger. TCNJ right now saying, you want to be dangerous on the rush, we'll be dangerous on the rush as well. And both teams firing at each respective goaltender, and the Lions are within 15 shots on goal of George Mason, and they're within a goal of tying this game. 31 seconds to go in the second period. Offensive zone draw as Gregory will win it. Helkowski back to Gregory, was trying to get it over to Gibson, who was tied up by Chun, taken back here by Thorne. Thorne spins away from Gibson, and Thorne starting from his own end, hit behind the play, trying to get it up here to Ransom, and Ransom will kick it back to himself. Ran over the lines person, and was ran over by Helkowski. Make that Alex Gibson, I should say. His bodies went flying all over the place. Sharp trying to play keep away from Helkowski. 3 seconds to go in the second period, and that will do it. So George Mason doubled up the lead with a goal from Tim Marsico, but Marsico serving a game misconduct. Will be out of the commission for the game for the next 5 minutes. And drawing back within one were Zach Duggan and the TCNJ Lions to make this a 2-1 contest. 40 down, 20 to go. We'll be back in a quarter-hour time here on Breakout Sports Broadcasting coverage of TCNJ hockey here on BSB. 2 periods down and 1 to go as we welcome you back inside the glass of the TSAI Field House in Lawrenceville, New Jersey for the start of the 3rd period of play between the TCNJ Lions and the George Mason Patriots here on Breakout Sports Broadcasting. My name is Trey Wright, and after 40 minutes of play, TCNJ trails GMU by 1 goal with 20 minutes remaining in this contest. The Patriots got 2 goals early on in the contest, a goal in the first period from Joe Petit, and then scored with Tim Marsico in the second before Zach Duggan cut the deficit in half. Marsico still serving the back end of a 10-minute game misconduct, and the Patriots will be without his offensive prowess for the next 5 minutes or so. Starts with a face-off win as Sharp will take it over to Chun. Chun gets a hit at the boards and turns it over. Here's Kushner. Kushner with a little bit of a weak shot. Didn't reach the net as Sharp will get it out of here. Sharp to Thorne. Thorne trying to get around the defense. Will take it at the half wall as Nathan Mayer, who has remained stout in net so far, trying to keep his team in the contest. Shots 34-23 after 40 minutes of play. Walter will chase after this, but Price will dig it out. Walter will chip this out as a foot race at the far side, and icing is waved off. Trying to dig after it is Duggan. Fisher will turn it over. Here's Duggan, was trying to get it over to Greenspoon, but it's played out of here by Alley. Alley trying to get it up to Farley as players change in here for GMU. George Mason in their road green uniforms, TCNJ in white. And this is up into the netting and out of play with 18:47 to go in the 3rd period, and Marsico still in the penalty box. It'll be a defensive zone draw here for TCNJ as these 2 teams will play tomorrow evening at the Prince William Ice Palace in Fairfax, Virginia. Taking a look at the upcoming schedules for both of these teams. Like we said, they've got the 2 games tomorrow, or the 2 games this weekend, the home and home, as Stout wins the draw. And then next weekend, it's a home and home, and we got a penalty coming up here as Greenspoon got shoved headfirst into the boards. He is very slow to get up. George Mason will touch up on this one, and they'll be going to the box for a boarding call. Glad to see Greenspoon get up after that as he went headfirst into the boards. And it's going to be the 85 of Travis Plylar, who will go to the box for 2 minutes. So a great opportunity for TCNJ to draw even in this contest. Kushner off of the draw will get it over to Gregory. Back to the point for Yaka. Puts one through traffic. Looking for the redirect was Gibson. Kept in here by the Lions. Duggan is on it. Has Kushner. Kushner waiting for options. Takes it himself. Looking a baseball batted in was Gibson. And it's cleared. 15 seconds gone in the penalty kill for the Patriots. And Jakob will start from his own end. Plylar with a boarding penalty here early in the 3rd period. TCNJ needing a goal to tie. Looking for their first home ice win of the 25-26 season. Duggan still on this one, kicks it up to Kushner at the point. Kushner, cross zone feed over to Dan Jakob. Jakob to Duggan. Duggan, one-touch pass to Gregory, back over to Jakob. Jakob looking to put a shot on, and it's cleared out by Farley. Jakob will give chase. Time continuing to wind down. 67 seconds to go in the boarding call against Plylar. Opening power play unit still out here for the Lions, and Kushner will start from his own side of the ice. Kushner, backhanded pass over to Gregory, will get it up to Duggan. Duggan to Jakob at the point, keeps it in, banks it across off of the railroad tracks and gets to Kushner. Kushner to Gregory, up to Jakob, who's quarterback in this power play. Back to Gregory, back to Jakob. Jakob to Duggan. Duggan puts one on, save made, it's still loose. Digging at it on the side of the net are a couple of players. It'll stay out. Kushner to Gregory. Here's Gregory with a chance, and that's deflected into the glass. Gregory still on it. trying to get it out of their own end is George Mason. This is Alley that can't get it out. It's taken here by Gregory. Gregory looking for it, back across, and a stick save made by Ransom. Ransom keeping his team up by a goal, and it's cleared. Oh, Lucas Huberger is going to owe Nick Ransom a steak dinner after this one, and we're back to 5-on-5. Helkowski coming on here. Fresh skaters coming on for both of these teams, and Karabko has got it, trying to feed Scarmato. Scarmato gets it over. Here's Gabota, sends one over the crossbar, and will find Helkowski. Helkowski will get it back over to Scarmato. He's hit by Petit. Petit will loft it out into the neutral zone, and giving chase after it is Rotherman. Rotherman puts on the brakes, trying to find options. Clap bomb coming from Petit, stopped by Mayer. Mayer facing his 35th shot of the evening as we got a player down, but no ref arm is in the air. And this one will come out of the zone as the Lions were a tad bit offside. TCNJ with 5 shots on that power play, by far their best looking power play of the night. Were able to hold the zone for almost the entirety of it. But Nick Ransom, the Reston Virginian sophomore, able to get a stick on it from a nice little wrister from Josh Kushner. Will keep his team up by 1. Here's Markowitz putting one on, save made by Mayer. Now Helkowski trying to chip it in, went off with a glare of Hinkson. Back across they go. Markowitz not able to get a touch of this one, but will play it up for Petit. Backwards hit into the boards by Rotherman, and it's wheeled out of here by the Lions. Tape-to-tape pass over to Kushner, trying to find it over to Scarmato, and now a 2-on-1 potentially. Trying to find it with Scarmato, not able to get a touch of the puck. Chun trying to get it back over, hit hard into the boards was Markowitz. And now Goodwin on the other way from both knees, able to get a shot off. Rebound collected, and Mayer on top of it will hold on. And after the play, Chun was trying to stick it from underneath the gear of Mayer. Josh Kushner took exception to it. And the two having to be separated by the linespeople. And Chun talking to Mayer, saying, hey, was going for it, was playing to the whistle. Mayer will say, hey, stuff happens. Nothing, of course, malicious there from Dylan Chun, who has been all over the ice so far on this top pair for the Patriots. Nothing on the score sheet just yet, but he has played an integral part in a lot of volume shots. That one waffle boarded into the air by Mayer. Wraparound chance. Denied there by a couple of Lions. It's loose in the high slot. Mayer will stick it away, and Stout just trying to clear it out of the zone, but he's surrounded by green and gold jerseys. Trying to play it out of here with TCNJ, but it's kept in by the Patriots. Karpov is on it. Trying to stick it up to Farley, and he's able to touch it to negate the icing. Another hit into the boards there from Plylar. This will go all the way down for an icing call against TCNJ. Time continuing to wind down. And Marsico continuing to sit here in the box. We're past the 5:10 mark where he should have been out. Marsico should be out of the box right now, given that misconduct came with 5:10 to go in the third period. In the second period, I should say. This one just wide enough. No, icing is not going to be called. Greenspoon is on it. Big hit into the boards there as Alex Gibson lays the body, but it's wheeled out of here by Thorne. Thorne chips it off of the glass where it'll find Greenspoon, make that Stout. Greenspoon turned it over, and just offside was Matthew Price. So we'll get another neutral zone draw here. 13:36 to go in the third period. And the longer that Marsico is still in the box here, the better that this TCNJ team is going to be able to play. Is this one not chipped by anybody, and it will be another icing call. And we'll get another defensive zone draw here for the Lions, who are within one. In case you're just tuning in, a 2-1 lead for George Mason. The goal scorers for the Patriots, Joe Petit and Tim Marsico. And the lone goal scorer for TCNJ as of right now, Zach Duggan, the Allentown, New Jersey freshman. Price wins the draw, but it's immediately taken away by Smith. Smith nearly taken away by Thorne as a 2-12s, both fighting for the puck. And Ransom trying to feed Smith, but he was tied up. Back to the point for Alley. Alley, the George Mason captain, can't get around the defense and instead up to play it to Thorne. Gregory will pop it out. This one not able to be kept in there by Ransom. Comes all the way down to the red line, and playing it will be the 3 of Fisher. Fisher nearly turned it over as Scarmato was trying to chase after it. Same thing with Manny Amendola. Fisher in his own end. Will bank it off of the wall. And Jakob will immediately pitch it back in here. 12:38 to go in the third period. In time, not on the side of the Lions, who need 1 goal to tie. Trying to bring it back to a 2-goal advantage is Quinn Alley. Alley across the center ice logo. Intercepted there by Walter. And now numbers the other way for the Lions. Amendola drops it back. Helkowski not able to hold it. Rebound. And a couple of redirects there from a shot from Ryan Walter will find Helkowski in the corner. Gamboa at the point. Gabota, I should say. Back to Helkowski. Up to Amendola, who goes hard into the half wall. Helkowski will pickpocket Plylar. He is hit after the fact, and it comes back over to Markowitz. Markowitz not able to dig it out of here, kept into the point by the Lions. Sticking after it again was Kahn, and this one will not have the legs for icing, and Mayer will set it up for Walter. Time continuing to wind down, and the Lions are within 7 shots. Within 8 shots, I should say, of where George Mason is, and a big hit right at the Patriots bench. Greenspoon forechecking Markowitz. Markowitz will play it up into the neutral zone and taken here by the Lions, but Duggan was tied up by Markowitz. Petit on it, sets it up for Goodwin. Goodwin down the left wing. Gabota trying to play it up there, and a spin cycle was a Patriot in the low slot. That was Farley that was looking for his first of the evening. Chun is on it, screaming down the left side. Farley is on it. The former Westchester Wolf avoids a big crushing hit. He takes a stick to the head. I think Kushner was trying to get out of the way. And on the follow-up, or on the follow-through, hit Farley upstairs. And he will go to the box. So a 2-minute penalty for head contact for Kushner. That was a great avoidance there from Farley, but I think Kushner just barely didn't catch him. Just barely caught him, I should say, and that was a power play opportunity for the Patriots. 0 for 3 on the night so far is George Mason on the man advantage, and TCNJ trying to keep that trend in the right direction. Greenspoon off of the draw, not able to win it. This is Chun. Gets it up to Price. Back over to Ransom, who will kick it to Chun. Chun, quarterback in this power play, over to Price. Price and Chun play catch with it. They continue to play catch with the vulcanized rubber. Chun with a slap shot. Didn't go through traffic, and it's wheeled out of here by Greenspoon. Karabko racing after the loose biscuit. He and Chun tied up over in the far left corner. Farley will take it away, no worse for wear after getting hit in the head by Kushner, and here he comes down the left wing. He is tied up, still remains with it, was trying to put it on the tape of Ransom, and it's gotten here by Thorne. Thorne, top of the zone for Chun, 1:16 to go in the penalty against Kushner. Chun wheeling, looking for the redirect there, follow-up chance just over the crossbar. That was Marsico, who's finally out of the box, was looking for his second. 69 to go in the third period. And a nice power play so far here for George Mason, who have been able to reach the 40 marker in terms of the shots, and now that Tim Marsico is back out on the ice. That's going to mean a ton here, especially for this George Mason rush. Rotherman off of the draw is able to win it, and Marsico has got it once again. Marsico looking to get it across to Petit. That one off the side iron. And it's cleared out of here with under a minute to go, and the penalty against Kushner. Nate Mayer giving the side iron a little bit of a love tap after the fact for saving his bacon, but here come the Patriots. Marsico down the left wing, has it taken away by Walter. Pitched out of here by Duggan, and he gives a little bit of a chase behind Rotherman. Rotherman still just taking it away there from Duggan, and he'll start from his own end. Petit across the red line, now across the blue line. Petit holds up, waiting for options. Players are tied up all over the place, and it's cleared. Gregory lost his stick, and he's able to get it back here 15 seconds to go in the penalty against Kushner, and he is eager to get out of the box. Alley across the blue line, looking for one final chance here for the Patriots. Wraparound chance denied by Mayer. 3 seconds to go. Kushner ready to get out. He is going to bolt back into the play. We're back to 5-on-5. 4 for 4 on the penalty kill here is TCNJ, and that one stopped by Nate Mayer. Another good chance there from the 81 of Marsico. A great kill there from TCNJ in a 2-1 game against the Patriots. Taking a look at George Mason's upcoming schedule. Of course, they've got their home opener tomorrow evening, and they're back on the road for a 3-game set next weekend. Next Friday, they got 3 ECHA opponents. Trying to go short side on that one where the Patriots, that was a chance there from Farley denied by Mayer. 41st save of the evening, and that one stays in play. Looking to glove it back down was Sharp. Collected at the half wall. Jakob starting in his own end. Will get it up a little bit ahead of Scarmato, and Shun taking it from his own end, backhands it all the way over. This is Karpov, who's hit into the bench. On here is Chun. Chun around Jakob, gets it across from Mayer. Follow-up chance. Mayer got across in time. Nate Mayer has done his part in the offense, trying to click here. Looking for another wraparound chance was Alexei Karpov, and that one steered aside. Smith is on the case, banks it over to Kushner. Kushner avoids a hit, stays on side, over to Helkowski, trying to line up Scarmato, but he lost the handle of it. Flipped back out in the neutral zone where Stout will come down with it. Both these goaltenders have played excellent so far tonight. Kushner across to Greenspoon, loading the gun and off into the gear of Huberger for a stoppage. Huberger 31 for 32, and Nate Mayer 42 for 44. We'll get another good look at this George Mason upcoming schedule. A couple of ECHA teams they'll be playing here on the road at Westchester next Friday, and then next Saturday they'll be taking on the Pioneers up in Wayne of William Patterson before taking a trip down 280. This one pops in and out of the zone. Duggan thought he was going to be off to the races for his second goal of the night. George Mason will take a trip up 95 and then up onto 78 to go to the Steel Ice Center to take on the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh for a 3-game road set next weekend. They are going to be all over the tri-state area. A couple of games in the Keystone State and one up in North Jersey. And that one redirects off the side of the post. That would have tied it up. Under 7 to go in the third period. Stout will give chase. Icing waved off, as Stout didn't get there in time, and now the Lions starting from their own side. Kushner able to keep it in. He'll lose it, and Ransom from his own end, between his own face-off dots. Cleared out of here, and here comes Greenspoon trying to take it away from Hinkson. Hinkson knocked down, no call. We continue to play on. He's got the puck back on the tape. Back up to the 12 of Thorne, who brings down Gibson, and now a 2-on-1. Here's Sharp trying to get it around Mayer, and he's stonewalled. Gregory falls behind the play, and Kushner has got it on his tape now. Down the near side was trying to spin it around, and here's Greenspoon with a little bit of space, trying to drop it back over to Kushner. This one played with a high stick, but it's back in the possession of the Patriots. Rotherman was trying to get around the entire Lion defense. Coming back here are the Patriots, and a big hit at the blue line. Gibson throwing the body, but here comes George Mason. Looking to set up shot. Petit with a wrister into the glove of Mayer. Save number 44 of the evening for the young sophomore. Looking for his first win of the season. And again, you take a look at his GAA. He has let in a lot of goals per game, but he has faced a high volume amount of shots. That one just goes off the crossbar. I thought that was a bar down beauty there from George Mason, and so do the Patriot faithful. I could have swore that went in and out. And the Lions dodge yet another bullet in this one. I got to go back and see exactly if this was a goal here. If George Mason may have gotten a little bit dogged by the refereeing. Trying to load things up here on our monitor. That was very close. Of course, the Lions people have a better vantage point than us do, or that we do. Hinkson will see this one redirected up into the air. Oh, and that just went off of the crossbar. And that just doinked off of the outside of it. Confirmed no goal. Based off of the replay that we've got up here. And with under 5 minutes to go in the third period, the Lions are still very much in this one. Trying to drive it around here is George Mason, who has had a couple of really great scoring opportunities. They're not able to capitalize on that one. Hinkson from long range, blocked by the rear end of Stout. Stout to Marsico. Marsico looking to try and get things going here. Back to Hinkson at the point. Hinkson through traffic, steered aside, rebound. Marsico tied up in the slot. Still it's kept in. Hinkson sends one over the crossbar. Amendola trying to chip it out of here. Hinkson doing a really good job at keeping it in. Marsico trying to give chase here. But TCNJ not quite able to keep it out. Here's Alley down the right side. Alley spinning around, looking to take aim. Instead, gets it over to Kahn. Kahn sends one through traffic, whistles over the crossbar. Kahn on it again. 4:02 to go in the third period as George Mason looking to send the dagger into the hearts of the Lions. That one whistles wide of the cage once again. Karpov sends one wide again. Korobko trying to finally clear it out, and the Lions will get a wholesale line change. Kahn ran into Amendola after the fact. Karpov still on it, dropping it back to Chun. Looking to go short side. Will rocket one into the rafters and out of play. And a much-needed pause in the action for TCNJ, who were just barely able to get fresh legs on the ice. Kushner, Walter, Greenspoon, Jakob. Among the five skaters on here. Another save made by Nate Mayer, and Jakob has got this one. He'll trail north with it. 3:27 to go in the third period. When does Mayer go to the bench? Will be the million-dollar question. Huberger will freeze play. Mayer remaining in his crease right now. Him and Paul Baccio exchanging words on the bench. Top line will come out here. Duggan, Helkowski, Jakob, Kushner, and Ryan Walter. Out here for the Lions. A nice tie-up off of the draw, and Helkowski's got it. Kicks it back to himself, looking to snag it over, but instead it's snagged by Huberger. Couple more seconds off of the clock as Bacho continuing to tell his young netminders stay in the crease. 3:17 to go in the third period. Still a lot of time for TCNJ to try to set up shop offensively here on the shift. They're able to win this draw, and they do. Kushner with a quick shot and a glove save there out of Huberger. Textbook definition of flashing the leather. And he'll keep this game in possession of George Mason. Off the draw again. This time, Price is able to win it, and it gets it up to Thorne, 2-on-2. Now a 2-on-3 as Thorne trying to drive a little bit of time. Price will keep it in. Price to Ransom, was trying to get Price, but he was tied up in the slot once again. Ransom couldn't keep it in. Here comes Duggan across the center ice logo. Duggan, the lone goal scorer for the Lions so far tonight. Trying to send one in. Tickled the blue paint, but didn't tickle the twine. That one redirects a little bit wide of the cage. Time winding down. TCNJ needing a goal to tie. Helkowski at the half wall was looking for Kushner, was blocked in front. Another shot blocked there by Huberger. Kushner on it again, was trying to get Helkowski. Here's Jakob at the point. That one blocked in front. Still another chance there, and it's cleared. This is not going to have enough legs for an icing. Rather, it will. I was watching one bench, or rather one lines person, say no icing, and the other one blowing their whistle, and this will be another offensive zone draw for TCNJ. 2:18 to go in the third period. Gregory and Price off the draw, and Gregory able to win it, not cleanly. Gibson trying to find Stout at the point. This is rimmed along the half wall. Gabota keeping it in, and that one redirected into the paint, but stays out. 2:05 to go in the third period. Mayer still in his cage, a scramble for the loose change. Finally coming back out to Price. Hinkson trying to clear this out, and he will, and this will find Stout. Under 2 minutes to go in the third period. Mayer at the top of his crease, waiting to get the signal from the bench. Gregory nailed into the boards, taken here by Gabota. He puts one on, that's redirected. Mayer still in his crease. 96 seconds to go in the third period. TCNJ needing one to tie. That one rebounded. Loose out of his cage was Huberger. Back across, and a howitzer from Stout will remain outside of the zone. Mayer still in his cage as Stout gets hit at the red line. Cleared in as Chun will clear it out. No, it's kept in here by the Lions. Hit into the board, and looking for a call was the TCNJ bench. They're not going to get one. 67 seconds to go in the third period, and here comes George Mason. Goodwin trying to get it across, and Mayer will make another stop. 1 minute and 1 second to go in the third period, and TCNJ will call their timeout here with 61 seconds to go in the third period, in need of a goal. We get a good look here at Nate Mayer, who has played a phenomenal game so far this evening. Mayer, the sophomore, 46 for 48, has faced a high volume of shots. And his team has responded in kind. Again, both goaltenders have been excellent in this game so far. Huberger, 37 for 38. And like we said, Mayer, 46 for 48 right now. And TCNJ in desperate need of a goal. They'll have a defensive zone draw here. And maybe about 50 seconds once Mayer gets to the bench if they're able to pop out of the zone, to get back in the conversation of potentially tying this game up at 2. George Mason had the first 2 goals in the game. Zach Duggan made it a 1-goal deficit. No goals in the third period so far for either side. And a crucial defensive zone draw for the Lions if they want to get their first win on home ice here this season. It'll be Duggan taking the draw here. And he is not able to win it. Taken out of here by Rothermond. Trying to bide a little bit of time here is Petit, and he's just trying to waste as much time as possible. He'll pin it against the half wall. Puck not loose yet. Now it's loose, and here comes Duggan. Duggan, cross-lot feed over to Kushner. He's got some time and space. To the bench goes Mayer. Extra attacker on. Looking for the one. Tap in play was Gregory. Another chance in front. Denied. Extra attacker on. 30 seconds to go in the third period. Gregory steps it up to the top of the point. That one whistles through the blue paint. And not able to hold it in is Walter. Walter chipping it up. 19 seconds to go in the third period. Onside or TCNJ, but they have got to try and set things up. Alley just trying to hold it on here, not able to hold it. 10 seconds to go in the third period. Goodwin looking for their empty net. It's going down just off of the crossbar. Jakob with 3 seconds to go, and that will do it. TCNJ will fall to George Mason 2-1. But given the short bench and given that without Logan May and EJ Clyde, that was about as complete of a game as I have seen these guys play in quite some time this season. And they were able to hold on to just a 2-1 deficit. George Mason will get their 3rd win in a row and a final score of 2-1, but what a fantastic game that was played here tonight for TCNJ. Never gave up for a second, and we're just a couple of plays off from tying this game. But unfortunately, this one will fall into the loss column here tonight. The final score of 2 for George Mason and 1 for TCNJ, but that'll do it here for tonight's coverage of TCNJ hockey. On behalf of our broadcasting crew, our technical director and camera operator, Corolla Pascal, and our technical director and camera operator, Dylan Manfrey, my name is Troy Wright saying so long from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, as TCNJ will be back here or back on the ice tomorrow at George Mason. We'll be back here on the airwaves on Friday, October 24th, when the Lions will take on NYU later on next Friday. But on behalf of everybody here at Breakout Sports Broadcasting, we say so long from the College of New Jersey's home barn. Your final score, George Mason 2, TCNJ 1. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week.